G'day guys and welcome. My name's Michael and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, here to share with you my tips, tricks, ideas and strategies for playing and running tabletop role-playing games. Today's class spotlight, we are going to be taking a look at the Sorcerer, one of the arcanists who tap into their heritage and the blood that courses through their veins in order to conjure and cast spells. Now these guys are not your typical blood mage who, sort of rip blood out of people and none of that. It's actually more about being directly related or the descendants of a magical beast, creature, or some entity that has a very potent magical blood. This could be a dragon, it could be a genie, or some sort of aquatic elemental. All of these things can imbue their descendants with more than simple magic. It can imbue them with supernatural powers that border on an evolution. And we're going to be talking about how to basically embody those in your game, and how to have your character basically be a little bit more like their progenitors and convey that during your own roleplay. So, without any further ado, let's talk sorcerers. So the first thing we want to know about sorcerers is that they are what we call spontaneous casters. They have a very short list of spells, but those spells are fixed. They can cast these spells in any sequential order and whatever have you, but they are limited. Once you've decided them, that's kind of what you get. This makes them very restricted as spellcasters in terms of versatility, and I think a lot of players that I come across tend to go, oh well, because we've got such a restricted list, we need to take spells that best suit our needs. We're going to take Magic Missile, we're going to take Fireball, we're going to take Evard's Black Tentacles, all these, kind of cookie cutter spells that all spellcasters tend to have. However, sorcerers for me are something very different, something unique. And I think the idea of having just all cookie cutter spells is such a terrible waste. The first thing you can do when you want to embody your bloodline is embrace it with your choice of spells. If you're playing an ice-based sort of bloodline, like say you descended from the blood of ice giants, then have ice spells, have Ice Slick or Ray of Frost and things like that. Have those moments where you just describe yourself being surrounded by this immense cold, but not really feeling it. Ray of Frost, great example, we'll use that. If I were casting it as a wizard, which is, like a book study kind of worm, I would basically say, as the wizard opens up his spellbook, he turns to page 472 on ice spells. He glances his hand over it and gestures towards his target as runes and symbols are drawn in his palm before a bolt of frost launches itself at his target. The sorcerer, I would describe more like your skin starts to take on this slightly bluish hue as your hands themselves begin to create this frost that lingers in your hand. You gesture forward, and as you do, this bolt of energy flies forth like an icicle straight towards your target. I know that that's only really an aesthetic, that's only just in the dialogue, but by adding those little elements, you can already start to see, feel, and build on those elements of your bloodline. And that, I think, is important for a sorcerer. You need to make sure that when you are playing a sorcerer, you're identifying as one, that you are walking around proud or, maybe hiding your heritage, because that's part of who you are. If you did not have your bloodlines, you would simply be a wizard. And, we've got the wizard. We don't need the sorcerer. So, from here, the next step after the spell list is, of course, having to come to terms with the heritage that you have. Sometimes it's a positive thing. Sometimes you could think, well, cool, I've got the blood of an angel. Therefore, I have this brilliant and strong connection to holy energy and light. Play that up. Enjoy it. Love it. That's fantastic. But you could also take it the other way. Maybe the blood of an angel is not a great idea. Maybe it's more of a curse. People, since you were young, thought, if we cut off this person's hair, maybe that's good luck. If we simply touch them on the cheek, maybe if we shave some salt onto them, we'll have good fortune. Before we go out to sea, we have them walk onto our boat. on and on and on, this kind of superstitious nonsense could really just drive someone insane and get them to the point where they're cursing their blood. So whatever angle your character has, make sure that you take the time to write something as to what it is that you're feeling towards your bloodline. Is it positive? Is it negative? The next thing is remembering that your bloodline needs to come from somewhere, right? Let's say we've got the draconic bloodline. That does mean that a dragon somewhere in your ancestry has indeed sowed its seed into your family tree. This being said, however, you probably shouldn't look at doing something like, okay, cool, I am a dragon-blooded sorcerer who is a Asima. Because Asima's a part angel, so technically then you would be part angel, and then there's also part dragon, and then later on down the tree you get another feat that gives you another bloodline, so you're also part demon as well. So you're a demon, dragon, angel. Try to not overcomplicate it. Follow the one tree, the one line, and focus on that. The thinner you spread yourself and the thinner you spread your bloodline, the less interesting it becomes. It sort of weakens the strength of your more unique bloodline if you've got multiple of them. Yeah? So, make sure that they're nice, simple, and easy to follow. If, like me, you enjoy humans are fantastic for them because humans can literally be anything. And there are so many of them, your bloodlines could literally go anywhere. So, there you go. All right. So we've talked about heritage, we've talked about spells. Let's now have a look at our reaction, our visceral reaction to gaining powers and abilities. As you level up in a sorcerer, you will of course gain your spells. But alongside that, you will evolve. Your character will start to undergo these massive changes where they will develop new powers, new abilities. Even their physiology will start to change in some way, shape, or form. Those who have the bloodline of, say, the frost giants might find themselves suddenly resistant to the cold. Those who worship the dragons can grow fangs and claws at will. All of these and many more are very surprising. I mean, come on. If you're playing a character and all of a sudden one day you go to bed, you sit down, you're just, okay. You wake up the next morning, you're like, why is my tent burned down? Why am I on fire? Holy hell, what is happening to me? Ah! Now look, I am not a big fan of people who need to make every single power manifest in some way. Like, oh cool, I can now summon a small wolf. How do I know I can summon a wolf? Well, I wake up and there's a wolf. It looks to me with an eggplant in its mouth. It then drops the eggplant and says, you will need this for your journey ahead. And then it disappears into a flaming ball. I take the eggplant and I eat it. And now I know how to summon that wolf. Not any wolf. That specific wolf. Again, I don't really get into it when people kind of do that. But when the sorcerer starts manifesting their powers, I think that's kind of interesting. I think that starts to, that kind of in a way earns them the ability to, sort of brag a little. Just be like, yeah, I got wings. Guys, check it out. Wings. Can I fly? I don't know. Let's just try. Yeah, I can fly. I'm not well, but yeah, we can do it. So, take those moments to react to your manifested powers as they go on, but don't drag it out too long. Have fun with it and bring your party along for the ride as well, because it could also be misinterpreted as something going heinously wrong. Your character suddenly starts hearing voices in their head as demons from another realm try to exert their influence over the hybrid species. Maybe you were the gateway to the new realm, and your body is but a conduit for your true father, a demon lord who has sowed his seed among humanity and awaits for one person to become the key and tear you apart. These and many more are fantastic stories that can come about if you embrace the idea of that sorcerer having that progressive change. All right, so in conclusion, the last thing I've got to say about the sorcerer is that it is a very popular class, and if you are playing a spellcaster for the first time, or if you aren't sure if you like spellcasters, the sorcerer is a very safe bet. They're very easy to handle, very easy to understand, and once you learn a particular spell, it's a simple matter of simply just rinse and repeating those specific spells. It's not like a wizard where you have quite literally a spell book to have to contend with, so you don't have too much to worry about there. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. It is a little bit shorter than my regular videos because, well, quite frankly, I think Sorcerers are a very simple class. They're one that everyone can play, and if you haven't played a Sorcerer or a Spellcaster before, whip one out, try it, it's great. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, that sadly also means that there is very little else I can offer in terms of tips and tricks on them. Actually, I will give you a mechanical tip. If you are playing any spellcaster, not just the Sorcerer, but any spellcaster, always keep a small cheat sheet of the spells that you know handy while you play. One thing that sucks more than anything else is pulling out your phone, flipping through the pages, trying to find your spell, or going through a book and doing it at the table, right? Cut out the middleman, right? Go online, find an SRD, find a copy of the spell, copy, paste it, make a Word document, print that out, and just keep it. Because at the end of the day, the faster that you can look and understand your spells, easier it's going to be on you. So yeah, having good notes is the first thing you need to do for being a good sorcerer. There you go. All right, now I'll say goodbye. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. We do have some excellent videos coming up this week. I am pondering doing a second video at some point or another, and we will be releasing a whole bunch of live plays next week, so stay tuned for those as well if you're watching on YouTube. So that'll be really cool and a lot of fun, and yay, go check those out. In the meantime, though, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you want to go visit all our stuff, visit in the links. We got our Facebook, we got Twitch, where you can come watch me do stuff live and play around with my plot twists and torment my players. And of course, if you want to come chat with me in Discord, I love seeing people, I love meeting people, I love saying hi, and yeah, and of course, if you want to help us out and support the Dead Aussie Gamer, then head on over to our Patreon page, whereas for as little as $2 a month, you can help us keep the lights on and keep things moving forward. Till next time, guys, as always, game hard or die trying. See yas!